everyone, welcome back. Or if you're just joining, my name is Maya and welcome to my channel, Cranley Place, where I'm posting content on scarf style, knot tutorials, and more. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to be notified of new videos, which I'm publishing weekly. In today's video, I'd like to share some of the other small format Hermès scarves in my collection, specifically 45, 65, and 70 centimeters. Like the Twillies, these were some sizes that took me a while to come around to, but now that I've given them a whirl, I do find myself checking them out more regularly. Especially in warmer weather, when a 90 or anything larger might be a bit much, these smaller formats work wonders. I also have a few knot tutorials for these small size scarves on my Knotty Corner playlist, so be sure to check those out if you haven't seen them. Those of you who've been watching my channel here know that I try to be strategic about color choices so that these accessories work across my wardrobe's core hues. So let's take a look. This design is by Ljubomir Milinkov, a Serbian artist who started working with Hermès in 1982. Fun fact, he apparently road tripped across the US from New York to San Francisco in a Cadillac hearse during the height of the hippie era and in fact exhibited at Woodstock. Yes, that Woodstock festival in 1969. Anyways, the name of this design translates to Wings of Joy and was reportedly inspired by 70s flower power. You see this profusion of butterflies haloing a tree, evocative of the planet Earth itself. So why this green colorway? First, green is a color that goes with a lot of my wardrobe, and second, I loved the variation and whimsy of the design. If you look closely, you can see some flying fish among the butterflies, and the wave patterns on the sides remind me of something you'd see in Japanese textiles, which I also love. Now, this scarf historically is one that I wear only by itself, although I suppose that if I had another 45 or Twilly that I thought paired well with it, I wouldn't hesitate to do so. Dimitri Rybaltchenko, or Dimitri R, is a longtime Hermès artist, and in fact, third generation with the house. Son of Vladimir Rybaltchenko, who signed his scarves Rybal, and great-nephew of Philippe Ledoux. This design, Magic Kelly, of course celebrates the house's iconic Kelly handbag and has been reprised in multiple formats and colorways. I just so happened to be looking for something pink at the time and fell in love with the exciting patterns, which feel like fireworks to me. The color combination with these pinks, whites, blue and red polka dots, and even some flashes of yellows is one of those surprising neutrals. Plus, like any pink, it brings out a nice flush in the cheeks. This is a scarf that I wear both by itself and paired with other 45s. Un Jardin sur le Toit is actually the rooftop garden at the flagship 24 Faubourg Saint-Honoré building in Paris. This urban oasis was created in the mid-1920s when Émile Hermès raised the height of the building to expand the store and leather workshops and build a cabinet of curiosities to house his collection. Fun historical fact, during World War II, potatoes were grown in this garden to feed Hermès employees. Philippe Dumas, the artist behind this design, first started visiting this rooftop garden as a child, and he captures the scene here in a charming illustration. This scarf originally caught my eye not only for the illustration, but this intense green color and its contrast hems. I know this may seem like a hard color to wear, but believe it or not, it acts like another neutral. Just look outside, almost anywhere in nature, and guess what? Green is everywhere, paired with colors of all kinds. Plus, this shade has always felt very spring to me, so I had to have it. Like my other 45s, this is one that I wear both solo and with other scarves. It's fun to mix up the colors. If you saw my video on my Hermès Twilly collection, seeing this 45 is probably no surprise. This design is by the French-Vietnamese artist Kongo, who also goes by Cyril Kongo or Cyril Fan. I already have Graff in 2 Twillys, so why did I get it in a 45? For me, first off, it was the format. I have mainly 90s in my collection, and when this came available, I jumped at it because A, I wanted a 45, and B, guess what? Not only can it be worn by itself, but also paired with those Graff Twillys you saw in my other video. I love the contrast of these black and red borders, plus the multicolored explosion in the center, which again makes it wearable with almost anything in my wardrobe. Here's another design that I also happen to have in Twilly format. It's based on the artist's own travel experiences to Africa, where she encountered 3 giraffes feeding on an acacia tree. This design has been issued in multiple formats, including 140s, 90s, 45s, and Twillys. I could never make up my mind about the available colorways in the 90s, so when I saw this in a 45, I immediately fell in love. The profusion of pink flowers and distinctive black and tan giraffe spots are so gorgeous, and it also has a pale pink contrast hem, which is just perfection. But this was sold out online, and I'm not that close to any of the stores. Then, on top of that, I refused to pay 2 or 3 times retail from resellers, so I'd almost given up on it. But thanks to an above and beyond Hermès sales assistant who found it for me across the country, I was able to get my hands on this lovely colorway. For now, this is a scarf that I wear only by itself and haven't yet paired it with any other scarves. This design, Cheval Punk, is by Daiske Nomura, a Japanese designer and illustrator who originally came to the attention of the house through a tie drawing contest organized by Hermès in 2009. I first saw Cheval Punk as a 100 centimeter scarf last season, which didn't really interest me, but when I realized they were also offering it in a 45, now they had my attention. And of course, with my weakness for blues, this made my wish list right away, and I was lucky enough to get it as a Mother's Day gift. This colorway is a bit more monochromatic, but like most of the 45s in my collection, goes with multiple hues in my wardrobe. Navy, gray, black, green, and even orange, right? The opposite of blue on the color wheel. This is another scarf that I wear paired with other 45s and by itself. Viktor Hachmang is a Dutch designer, illustrator, and experimental comics artist who was a finalist in the Grand Prix du Carré Hermès competition launched in 2019. This design reflects a unique blend of influences, including Japanese prints and modern Belgian comics from the 1950s. From the men's side of the house, this scarf is also from the current season and available in a 140 cashmere format as well as this 45. This was another one where I just loved the illustration of the motorcyclist on his ride with the neon lettering in the background. Admittedly, I was on a self-imposed shopping fast where I've been trying to avoid bringing more blues into my collections, but wow, with the pop of these hems, I made an exception. This design is from the current season by an unnamed artist. It caught my eye immediately, both with the design itself and this particular colorway. Plus, with it being a 65 centimeter scarf, I wanted to try the size. So a few thoughts here, since there's no mention in the Hermès site about the artist. What appealed to me about the design is first the asymmetry, and second, the combination of this abstract floral juxtaposed by the scatter of H's. Add to that the contrast hem, and I fell for it. Now, this scarf is actually a silk and cotton blend, and if I had one complaint about it, it behaves a little like linen in that it wrinkles quite easily. With my silk twills, airing them out at the end of the day usually takes care of any wrinkles. This one needs steaming, which is not a huge deal, but just something to be aware of with these blends. I put a link to the steamer I found on Amazon, which seems to do the trick if you're interested. Philippe Ledoux, as I mentioned, is the great-uncle of Dimitri Rybaltchenko and was listed by Robert Dumas to design for the house in 1947. The original design, Les Promenades de Paris, was issued in 1962 as a 90-centimeter scarf. This one here is a 70-centimeter reissue. The design centers on the heraldic arms of the city of Paris, around which you see iconic landmarks serving as backdrops to scenes from French daily life during the First Empire. The Louvre and Tuileries Gardens, Palais Royal, Les Invalides, and the Champs-Élysées. This was another one where I mainly wanted to try the 70-centimeter format. The colorway I chose is black with several blues, some golds, and browns, which works well across my wardrobe. And then, of course, there are these striped hems, which were unlike anything else in my collection, and now I see has become a more regular occurrence in Hermès scarves, particularly in the 45 and 70 centimeter sizes. So there you have it, my small format Hermès scarf collection of 45s, 65, and 70 centimeter. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and let me know what you think in the comments. In future episodes, I'll share other Hermès scarf reviews, not tutorials, and more, so be sure to subscribe to be notified of new videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time.